late effect versus residual effect. AAPC says a late effect is the residual effect that remains after the acute phase of an illness or injury has terminated. It also says the residual effect is coded first and is followed by the late effect code to show the cause of the late effect condition. Did you get that, Boyd?
Yeah, I did. Very
I
clear.
can see why this is so confusing. So let's look at the answer sheet here.
It helps when people can see you talk, actually, when you do this. I was just thinking.
What's shaking my head?
Yeah.
No, you would not want a visual of me today. Okay. So she went on to say, this concept really troubles me. I used to think that the two terms are the same things. They are, so you are correct. I'll explain why they stated it the way they did. However, it seems to me that there's one specific code for the residual effect and another for the late effect. All right, can you provide me with an example? Okay, so this is how when I'm teaching this, think cause and effect. And then replace the words cause and the words effect with other ways to describe the same thing. Cause, you could say etiology, okay, underlying condition, all right. Then for effect, it could be late effect or residual effect. It's the effect that the cause created, if you will. And then manifestation is also a way to describe a late effect or a residual effect. So now that we understand, let's just talk about like when you have a stroke. Okay, so that's a cause. An effect of a stroke could be hemiplegia. It could be dysphagia, trouble swallowing, dysphagia, trouble speaking. So that's a cause and effect situation. Now in ICD, we want to be led by the guidelines, and the guidelines will tell us sometimes there are combo codes, one code that tells that cause and effect story. Other times we need two codes to tell the story. We need a code for the cause and a code for the effect. So the effect, like we were just talking about with the stroke, let's just say it's two codes. The effect could be the hemiplegia, but the cause is the stroke. So when they said the sentence, the residual effect is coded first and is followed by the late effect to show the cause. When they say late effect here, it's either a typo and they meant to say etiology, okay, or they were referring to the actual ICD code. When you go to the index and you look up late in the index and then effect of, and it points to all of these codes, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. That's what I think they were talking about. Okay, so I gave you a little reference here for those that are you know, in the replay club and they want to see the official guidelines. So for ICD 9, it's section 1A6. For ICD 10, it's section 1A13, where they talk about this etiology manifestation convention. But here's a little clip I took from Supercoder from the ICD index, and I love this feature. Let me see if this will actually work here. Oh, good, it did. So recognize I'm still logged in. So if you're a subscriber to Supercoder, if you go to codingcertification.org/supercoder, you can get a discount. You can actually use this as a real coding manual, which I love. So especially since I didn't feel like getting out this page and scanning it in or getting out my document camera. So I went to L, and now I'm going to go down to late. Can you see this okay?
Yep, looks good.
Okay. And so what's nice about this, unlike the paper manual, is you don't have these ways to expand and collapse, but in the computer one we can. So we're going to expand the plus sign next to late, and now we see late effects up. I'm going to expand that, and then let's just look at burn, and we can see here we have I. So if it's a late effect of a burn of the eye, we're going to code 906.5. So the actual code description, if you turn to it in the paper book, is late effect of burn of eye, face, head, and neck. Now, it also says late effective injury classifiable to the category range 940 to 941. This is the code range we would use if it was a current burn or a fresh burn, if you will. So the code 906.5 is the late effect code, even though this is really the cause. See why it got confusing? Okay, so it's not the late effect of whatever's wrong with the eye, or let's go back to our stroke example, it's not the hemiplegia code. It's saying it's late effect of stroke. Okay, so this is late effect of a burn to the eye, maybe some sort of scleral scarring or something like that. So the residual would be the scleral scarring, but the cause would be this late effect code burn of eye. Okay, so this is in the answer sheet, so you can refer back to it. So basically, this is what I just said verbally. Sometimes when you hear, air quotes here, late effect code, it is really the cause or the underlying condition. But in ICD, it's called a late effect code because of how we look it up in the index and what it says in the description, late effect of burns of eye. Okay? So hopefully that will help clarify that for you. So indeed, residual and late effect do mean the same thing. And things are going to be a little bit different with ICD-10, but not too bad with it. If you are, and I learned this in my ICD-10 training a few weeks ago, the instructor said, teach your students to be obedient coders. So, and I like that, that stuck with me. So we want to be obedient to what, especially with ICD, what it tells us to do. If it tells us C, like we're in the index and says C and go somewhere else, do it. Don't go, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Okay, follow the instructions. When you confirm a code in the tabular, read all of the instructions and be led by them, and things will go well for you. And especially when it comes with this this manifestation coding. Sometimes they're combo codes, sometimes you need two to tell the story.
Get more CPC exam tips, coding certification training, and CEU credits. Go to www.codingcertification.org.